get it kind of close to the mouth.
Okay. All right. I'm not used to one of these things.
I don't think it's on.
Yeah, you want to put it on? Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
I think it's where you keep locking, John. We'll set it here for now.
Okay. Now I got to get this. I got to get the stuff like
Yeah.
this.
Is that a little better? Everybody
Anyway.
here?
And before he gets started, if you guys have not registered, just make sure that you try to see me before you take off on the tour, just so we can get your name and email address, okay?
Hand that around.
Yes, sir.
You up to date on anything we do?
2003. This is the first one we did as a group like this. That's me right there in the shirt like that. About 70 people showed up. They're not all the, some are taking pictures and some came early that day. And they said some groups have already gone, a few have already gone on. So, but it came out about 70, and a lot of people in here I recognize. A lot of these are my relatives. But this was, this is, and we've done this many times since then. In getting ready for this, this little book here says, this is the history of Smyrna. Well, in the back of this book is a section, Jefferson and Sky Harbor. Old Jefferson and Sky Harbor. And the good part about this particular book is it's got a lot of pictures with a lot of explanations. It's a simple book. Okay? So as we're turning these, okay, this picture right here is this map right here. Okay? Okay? Now got this right here, and then we got this right here. This is the area where we're sitting on Stones River. Okay. Old Jefferson is right in the middle right here. So we got the West Fork and the East Fork, and they come together right down the stream here. And so that's what we've been enjoying all these years. Okay. Now this particular map here is actually the town itself. When it was originally laid out, many of these lots they sold for in the neighborhood of $30 a lot. $30 a lot. Okay. Now, so there's something really important on the inside of this book. There's a man standing by a big tree. You see the little red fella there? That's me. That's me. With his arms out like this. Okay. Now on the back it says Toby. Now this was actually done by Christina Runkle. Christina Runkle. And it's called The History of Smyrna. And in the back we've got this thing on Jefferson. Here was the old school here. Here's the classes, which includes the class that I'm in is in this book. And this is just chock full of sense. But this is what it says here. It says, Toby, thank you for all of your help. This wouldn't have been possible without you. Best, Christina Runkle. And she did this book. And so, now, the problem was, I wasn't here then. Okay? In other words, I graduated from high school. When a year in college at UT, a bunch of us got in an old car. There were 6 of us in the car, including my older sister. And we were headed west. We were going to drop Sue off out in Wyoming to a ranch. She was going out there for the summer. So we we made it across. This was at the end of my freshman year of college at UT.
Go Vols.
Go Vols. So when we dropped Sue off, we kept going, and we made it to Seattle. We made it to Seattle, and all of us went to work. Country kids off the farm here. All of us went to work for Boeing Aircraft, and I was one of them. Before I knew it, I was working on what was called the KC-135. The KC-135. And our granddaughter's husband, he flies an airplane today where you can refuel, where you have a gasoline operated propeller driven plane, and you can gas up a jet. He does. Okay, that was the plane that I was working, but mine was the modern day one with the jet engines and stuff. Okay, and here I am. Before I know it, I'm having a lead role car. I did all kinds of. I never got laid off, and I never got a rejection tag when I was working at Boeing Aircraft. And the thing that happened was after the first year, part of us came back to UT, went to school the second year, packed up the next year, and this time there were 4 of us, and we started out again going back to Seattle, going back the second year. We actually, so I had done the freshman and sophomore year at UT, but now I was in Seattle for that 4-year period, 57, 58, 59, and 60. Before I left, I went to my boss and I said to my boss, now here I am, that guy up there, he's a grade 5, and this right here still shows me as a grade 8, and I'm doing the same job as he is. He said, well, we're looking at it. So in a few days, they came back to me and said, we've changed your job. We're going to send you from Renton, Washington, and you're going to Seattle, Washington, and you're going to be working on the Beaumont missile. The Beaumont missile. I started working on a graveyard shift, and so I would go in at 12 midnight and get off at 7, and I would make a full day's pay. So I did that job, and then they shifted. A missile is a big long thing that goes from like from here almost to the river. Well, maybe not hardly that long, and all of the tanks, and I worked on a graveyard shift, and I was preparing those tanks to hold the gas and a Beaumont pistol, and I just came off the farm down next to the river, downstream here where I was born. And so with that then, I started building a special part of that plane, of that Beaumont missile. The long thing that goes down the top. All these things hold all the fuel, and that part that goes down the middle about this wide and really long this way carries all of the gas and any kind of fuels that feeds that rocket ship. Okay, I was building that cover piece. And sometimes there would be nothing to do, but you always look busy. Okay. And I would take classes where I would study maps and all that sort of stuff. And if I had some kind of idea, there was a box over there, and you just take your idea and you drop it in that box, okay? And I did a few of those, and so So after that period, things had changed here in Rutherford County. My folks had moved. They had built the dam, Percy Creek Dam. They had the whole thing. They were even talking about the Air Force Base leaving. Okay, so with that, my folks got out and bought a place in Milton, bought a 100-acre farm. Our farm was downstream. That farm that we lived upstream from Percy Creek, it runs 149 acres along the river, and it is the greatest single place on earth to be born. We were isolated. We had that big bluff down before you get down to Weekly Road. There's a big bluff there, and sometimes I'd be back studying for my master's when I came back and started teaching here. I taught in Smyrna. When we came back, my folks had bought the farm in Milton, and my father died, and so it changed our plan. I was actually teaching in Washoe County in Reno, Sparkston. So I had been working out there. I had gotten a job teaching, and I taught out there for 6 years. And then we packed up and came back here. And then I was working on my master, and I'd be lying on the floor. I'd take a nap during the night, and before my eyes, I could see that whole beautiful farm. That beautiful farm that I grew up on. Greatest place on earth. We never had any big machinery on our farm. We grew cotton and corn, milk cows. After I turned 10 years old, I milked a lot of cows, until I went to college, last family. Okay. So what I'm saying is, there are certain things that changed my life. I had trouble communicating with people. I really had trouble communicating with people. Even Jamie over there, the girl, even she is a small child. She had some of the same problems, and we had to be on guard. She doesn't stammer and stutter, and I do a pretty good job sometimes talking. But that. The one thing that happened to me was, when I was working for Boeing Aircraft, they had a special office that you had to have a permit to go inside of that office. And when you went in there, they were all prominent people, and I was this 20 early something year old guy. And the thing that would happen was, those people talked to me, and I could talk to them, and I finally learned how to talk. I'm not perfect. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. But it changed the people that I talked to. You know, those people in that room, they treated me like I was a real person, a real adult person, and I was only a kid, you might say. Okay. So in a nutshell, I came back and taught at Smyrna, and then I went to Oakland High School. I taught 37 and a half years. Okay. Changed my life. It changed my life. Okay. Okay. Now, in a book like this, in a little book like this, what I was going to show you was, on the back of this, there's a section of this little book, and I helped her with this. These are things that we're going to be seeing right here. It says Jefferson, and here's the map. Here's the classes at old Jefferson. There's my class, and these are some of the sites that we'll be seeing today. But the house is not there. I've got them on these pictures here, but all these things that we're looking at, they're not here anymore. All these right here. Things that here's the snow-covered areas, times of floods around the old Jefferson, and that's what we're heading to see today.
Toby, I think that book is available at the CVS store.
Yeah.
Back the one that's right there in Hazelwood, and they've got a little spinner rack. I used to sell them at Gil Days Hardware. I had a little history section. But she did a remarkable job on that book because it covers the train. That's why Smyrna's Smyrna, because of the train we were water stop. And the air base and Nissan. It's a great little book, so you can get your hands on it.
Keep it local though. We sell them at Sam Davis home
Oh,
also.
okay. I was trying to go to Sam Davis home. Yeah.
Talk local.
That's a good little book.
So what we're going to be doing, we'll get up and get started. I'll just pull out an article like this, or another article or two like this. There'll be certain things that we'll show. There's one guy I've got to really face. Jimmy Francis is not here, but he's on that picture. Jimmy spent a little time. He's a little bit younger than me. He went around during the time he was here, and he went around all this with his camera, and he took all these. Now this picture right here is was taken by Jimmy Francis with all of his other pictures, and this is the dam itself. Just about time they were getting it ready, and this is standing on top of the dam, looking north toward Old Jefferson. This is the dam. This is the Perseverance Dam, and before the water started flowing in. Here's another picture toward the getting toward the finished product where the lake was almost built. Okay. So I'll be pulling these out as we go along, and I'll slip them.
I'll hold them up also.
I'll
You
just.
can see them, you can hand them off for people to see.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to scan
Okay.
them.
Take that back to the car. Let me just show a couple of things right here. In other words, okay. Old Jefferson itself, the town of Old Jefferson is right in the middle here. This is the East Fork over here, coming in from Cannon County, coming down this way, coming in this way, East Fork, coming together, and this is the West Fork, the southern part, around southern part, bends back around and comes out on the west side. This is the West Fork. This up here was Jefferson Springs. The new road they built, the old road went right through the town right here. Now the road goes up here and misses this whole thing. I was working with some people the other day, and they mentioned Old Jefferson, and someone said, "Where's Old Jefferson?" That's kind of hard to explain. We're somewhere. Murfreesboro is that way. Of course, 840 goes over there. The boat dock, East Fork boat dock is over there. West Fork is over. The first time I came over here, after I taught all these years, it's in one of those books that I set out walking from right here, and I went all the way across and got over to the West Fork, and I heard boats over here, and when I got over there, I heard the boats on the other side. And the little article was in a book the other day. Toby Francis, it was in a paper, said, Toby Francis said he never got his feet wet. Okay, so we'll start out, and we've got a way that back years ago when we'd come in the summertime, the water would be way up. Okay, now back then we had to go up and around. So this time we're going to stay right next to there was a plantation house up on that hill, and the cemetery is there. But we're going that way, and we'll just follow along slowly and start moving in the shady area. Okay.
Alrighty, right this way, folks.
Or coming on up. This is part of the summer pool. In the winter pool, there's the water now, and it's been for the most part about 484, and during the summer pool put up here, it puts it up somewhere around 490.
Let's let them all get down here, okay?
Okay. As the last group of people coming up here, let me say just a thing or two about the level of the water. We're close to what is called winter pool, 484 for this particular lake. It varies, of course. It varies, and summer pool is not much different, 490, roughly 490. In 2010, we had a big flood here, one of the biggest floods. Okay, so I was over at the park, and it just happened to be there was a young lady there, and there was no printing of this like in the newspaper of how deep the water got in the 2010 flood. So I asked her. Okay, and I had it figured. I could tell by the way that the land looked. Okay, that it was different. She said that from the summer pool, it rose 14 feet. 14 feet, and you can imagine. Now I've got a barn. I've got a barn in Smyrna at the end of Bel Air Drive where I live, and it actually backs up to Stewart's Creek, where I managed that flood that we had came in a strange way. Number one, the person who was the head person in the family had only been here for a few months. Okay. Rain started the early part of the week in Memphis. Every day it would slowly move this way, and it was pouring down the rain. Okay, and I said, and the lake was at the summer pool. I said, why don't they just lower it 2 feet? Only 2 feet. That might save a lot of lives. Well, that particular flood, it was not lowered, so it went that maximum height. There were the death toll. I had read was 26 people died because it flooded a lot of Nashville. It flooded a lot of this area and a lot of the area back toward Memphis.
Toby,
and it was
what
less this way.
What year? Oh, the 2010.
Yeah,
The great
the
flood.
2010 flood. Okay, so there are things, and I would talk to Ernie Johns and this person. I said, Ernie, why don't we know what to do? Just a basic little thing. If they just dropped it 2 feet, that might have saved some lives. We never know. But it never happened. Okay, where we're going now. Since we took this bypass here, I appreciate you going through that. We go through that trail right there. It goes right in. It goes right into the town of Old Jefferson. We'll make a couple little stops along the way, but we'll start. Be careful over these rough rocks here. And we've actually got it carved up. We came over and did a little breaking, so we'll go over and head up this way right here. For those of you who just came
Hold on, it's got a few more.
out of the area where we were seated back earlier, that house that was in that area, it says that this was it was the Davis Mill place. was once located on Old Jefferson Road east of the town of Jefferson on the banks of the East Fork of Stones River. The land on which this house was part of was the Shelton Crosswaite estate, which was later inherited by his daughter, Rebecca Crosswaite Ridley. They actually purchased this, and the this but okay, hold that for a second. Now this family right here, this particular gentleman right here, they also occupied this area. Now this is Broomfield Lewis Ridley Sr. He was born in 1804. 6'9", was born at Oxford, North Carolina, and migrated to McMinnville. In 1924, he came to Jefferson area of Rutherford County around 1830 and built the plantation house called Fairmont. He served as the second chancellor of the 4th Chancellor District 1842 to 62, and he was one of the first professors of law at Cumberland University in Lebanon. Okay, so that's the picture there, and this is his wife and family. This is a son, but the same lifetime. Now those as we were where we were when we were sitting talking over on that bank to our east side, that's where the mill was. The mill, and they actually ran the mill. This lady right here, this is Elizabeth Ridley Blackmore. She was the daughter of Broomfield and Rebecca Crosswaite Ridley. She was a teacher. She only lived from 1834 to 1863. She was a prominent person, and then
What was her name again? What was it
her
again?
name.
Elizabeth Ridley.
Okay, read that name off of her.
Right there.
I can't see 2 foot.
Huh?
I really can't.
Okay, that was Broomfield Ridley's daughter. Now that where we could see the old mill like this. That's where the mill was, over on that bank there, where the river curved, where we were sitting. And this right here is Miss Ethel Short. This was called the Davis Dam and Mill. The people sitting there is Miss Ethel Short. She was one of the teachers at Old Jefferson when I was there. Margaret Mann, so on. Now that's the picture there, and here's another. Here's another picture of the mill from the east side.
Let me hold them up a higher view there,
Okay.
everybody can see it.
Okay, you see it like that. Now I just want to read right here. It says, Sarah Davis stands in the doorway of the Davis Mill on the east bank, and that's her on the opposite side. Because all these things were wiped out as time went on. Now this particular, someone mentioned the island. Who was mentioning about an island this morning? An island. Someone said about an island. This particular picture right here, down where the I'll hold it up like this. Down where the Stones River goes downstream and turns and goes that way, and it turns and it goes around and sort of springs back the other way and goes straight on down to the Big Buck. That's where our farm was. See this island was from. This is the pumping station right here. This is the pumping station right there on Sharp Springs Road, where I was born down here. I was born right there on that little extension. This is the big island that was formed in flood time. this where the water breaks through beside the pumping station, and there's where I was born, right there. Now that particular area was always above the water level, except for the 2010 flood. During the 2000, after 2 or 3 months after the 2010 flood, I went down to the old place. I went down the highway down on the far side of the bluff. I got out of my car, climbed over up on the bluff, and came upstream. And where our house stood, I could tell that the water had gotten about knee deep. And that was the only time in all those years where the.
So that paper thing about you never got your feet wet, you did get them wet.
Okay, now this right here is another picture of some of the people that we were hiking through here back in 2003.
Looks a little clearer back then, don't it?
Okay.
So what, 20 years of
Here's another one.
more growth?
Okay. Now I'm going to take these, slip them in here, and we'll be on our way. Okay, I'm going to slide them right here. And we make another little stop. Now they did say that on one of the trips that there was a booth here to collect money on this, back in the early
Old
days.
gate,
Yeah, I never did know that for sure, but
Well, the home, my mom was born in Old Jefferson, right there by Eads. Anybody know where that is? Right across from the Victories, that corner. That's where my mom was born. My Aunt Dot, which is 97, and Carson. You know Carson. Anybody follows Old Jefferson memories? That was supposed to be the toll gate house at one time. That's what I was told, by them. So, and my mom said it was the ugliest house in Old Jefferson, though.
Now the part of the Trail of Tears, the Indian groups did also come to, not the whole group, but they did break off. Now most of the toll gates were like from the highway, like Murfreesboro, Nashville, and there were about 10 toll gates there. But some of the people, as they were moving the Indians west on what was called the Trail of Tears, they actually cut them through this area to cut off some of those expenses. So they would go from here, go all the way through the town of Old Jefferson, and then would get down around the Air Force Base. It would turn and go north into the southern part of Davidson County, where the toll gates they would join the highway, so they'd start paying again.
Well, this trail came back into Murfreesboro Road there on Dodson, Hamilton Church Road, and crossed Four Corners and went down Hamilton Church Road and came back into Murfreesboro there, and then they hooked up with the other there where there on Murfreesboro Road. There by the bridge where the church is over there on Bloomsville.
Well, yeah, one of our speakers today, he's in the hospital. It's going to be Marty Luffman. He was actually going to speak around 9:30 about the Trail of Tears that went through here. But like I said, he is in the hospital, so. And he did call and tell everybody, sorry. He texted, I think, while I was setting up a little bit earlier. But that's what he was actually going to talk about, the Trail of Tears.
One of the toll booths that they were trying to miss was there on Stonesboro Battlefield. There's a historic marker there where the trail comes out, where you go back, the new road where you go back in to come back out. That's where one of the toll roads are. And that's one of the reasons why they were coming. They were surprised me about a toll road here, because they were coming this way to miss all the toll roads. So, and they may miss that one.
Yeah, like I said, they could have. And that's probably why a lot of them died dodging the toll gates, taking 3 times longer than it should have took.
Well, there was actually 7 different trails of Tears. This was only one of them.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, the low place down there actually gave a travel way that you could go across the river, and it actually starts to going back up, and I'll stop you at a house there down the other side there. there should be some buttercups blooming. So we'll continue through this low spot. So this is the low spot on the Jefferson Pike right here. And we'll keep moving. Now we'll stop again right on the other side again. He was a resident. He was a black fella, and I remember he always had a cigar when you see him driving down the road. But he was on the second floor of this building when we had the 48 flood, and after the flood was over, they came down and rescued him.
Well, they actually found him dead in the attic, didn't they?
Yeah, he was on the second floor. The upper part of this building. He went up the stairs, and he was there. Now the big floods were 48 was big, and then 55 was somewhat less, but in the same category. It said also occupying this particular house, Claiborne, Waller, Ollie, Bernice, and Howard, and Sarah Frances Waller, who was the mother of Jimmy Francis. Now I give Jimmy Francis a lot of credit. He is 7 years younger than me. He's a first cousin of the younger uncle. So in the Francis family there were actually 10 people. So Uncle Wilson was actually married to Sarah Frances Waller. And so Jimmy, I was out west completely, and Jimmy spent a lot of time taking pictures, and a lot of pictures that I have today came from Jimmy Francis, and I thank him for that. Now on this is a picture. When we go up to the top of the hill, we'll be seeing this picture here. In this picture, this was the store itself, and this right here is Everett Waller, who was a brother to Jimmy's mother, and this right here, this little kid here, this is that kid there with you can see his socks. That's Danny Francis, which is Jimmy's brother, and he has passed away recently.
Another thing about this store, when we get up here to Old Jefferson, the last person that owned it was Ernest Eads, and they were the last people to leave Old Jefferson. Now his daughter was going to be here today, and her brother-in-law and sister-in-law are here, and but she had a death in the family and couldn't come. She's never been on one. We used to call her Doodlebug. Little girl, anybody that ever, he remembers. Anna's her name, Anna Elliott, and we used to call her Doodlebug. So we would go to the store over there, walk over there, and there's a little girl running around. That's what her nickname was. But she was going to be here.
Now everybody knew who this was, but I don't remember ever going in the store.
Oh, sure you did.
This is Ma Mullins, and this is her husband.
Do we have any relatives of Ma Mullins here?
Great-granddaughter.
Okay, I actually got this coffee pot. You can have that coffee pot that belongs to her that's on that table. That belonged to your great-grandmother. So you can have that, okay?
So here are the other children. So the one thing that Ma Mullins, even after he died, she still operated the store. It was located right over in this area right here, and she sold beer. I never made it in there, but a lot of people I
don't know. Anybody, these guys, they don't never look like they've ever had a beer.
Okay. Now here's another paper that I put together showing all the many people who lived at the town of Old Jefferson. There's their names and everything, and I've got everybody recorded about where they live. Okay, that's what that is. So this is your main street going east and west. These over on the south side was the Keeble house called Stony Lonesome. Was over on the west side, And so so in different places, and then as we get to the top, the road will go to the south where the river is curving the west, the east fork is curving around. So there was plantations on the end there, and on that one over there, and also over.
Well, this Stony Lonesome he's talking about, that was actually like the Keeble Plantation. That was the first black lawmaker from the state of Tennessee. Came from there, Samson Keeble, and his bus is at the state capitol. And then later on, I think Smith, it was Peyton Smith. Which, got relatives here today. I seen Joyce, and I saw Sandy Short and his them there, the Shorts. That was their granddad. And Joyce, if she's here anywhere, that was her granddad. Yeah, she's back here. Yes, yeah. She's already down there? Okay, she get a ride? Okay, because it's a pretty good ways down there. But anyway, that's just about 2 cents for it. So anyway, on with Mr.
Oh. Was that car part there since they left? The push kind of thing?
No, that was probably some, I'm not saying a low light, probably somebody dumped his trash.
Brought it all the way
back
in
here. Yeah, they would drop junk back then. Now that we're gathering close here, you can kind of spread out a little so you can see some of the pictures of down here. This is a picture thing that dated way back. This is the location of where the store was. And this is old Jefferson. They call it a ghost town. Here's a picture. The things that I remember about the store was right in that location right there. We're on top of this hill. Over on this east side, you had the house just like the owner who was running the house. He would be in that first house. And then the next house, and then down at the bottom, you'd be almost level. Then way off at a distance on the right side was a house that you could see from this location. Now going this way over here is the part that you run into where the political buildings were right here. The highway running this way. Well, the Lenore Victory House was the courthouse at one time. Yeah. And we do have Rob Lenore here, one area right there. Yep. Dates back to 1804.
1804, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that house was here. And then over here, there was, way back earlier, there was a big house. Now this is kind of a thing that looks like this. I'll just kind of flip this around. This dates way back. Old Jefferson, a ghost town. You had the mailboxes were over there lined up, so you didn't have delivery of mail. You also had a bus that would pass through in the latter years. A big bus, a Nashville bus, and you could flag it down. Now this picture here. Showing this picture is the river looking downstream from the junction of the east and west forks of the Stones River. Now the east fork comes out of Cannon County and comes in from this direction here, and then the west fork comes at the eastern part of Tennessee and comes around. The thing that's really interesting to me right now. Is the things that's going on in what is called the Duck River, River. Now I remember when this dam was built, we had negative thoughts. We had negative thoughts because people were having to move, and it was a massive turn. Now over on the southern part right now, if you're doing your recent readings. The things that are going on with what is called the Duck River. The Duck River comes back around and runs in. Of course, it makes its way all the way to the Mississippi River. But they're having really serious water problems. the one thing that they did promise when they were building this dam was we would have water, and it's pretty well say a balanced thing. We've got decent water. There are areas like that, and it's going to be an interesting study to see what the Duck River. The Duck River is one of the most interesting rivers in all the United States, and it's south of us, and it'll be interesting to see what happens to them.
So the junction would be, the junction is sitting right here then. We're right at what we call the junction right now.
This is the junction, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a T. East Fork, which curves on around, and if you go over where the East Fork boat ramp is, and go about 100 foot to your left, that was the East Fork Bridge. And the West Fork, what we call the Roy King side, you know, that would be the one that was on this side, and then when they took over, before they took them out, they built the Jefferson Pike over there on the Jefferson Springs, that bridge over there, the big one, that replaced that. So there's no way you can really get in here unless you go down, like y'all said, Buckeye Bottom or Central Valley to get in here. That's why a lot of people moved out, you know, before you just hop on to be right at the air base or whatever reason, whatever had to go on. Oh, is that the one going down kind of?
Well, from each door,
Yeah.
it was a rock wall along there. It went
Like the
on the
foundation?
opposite side no, it was a rock wall that was there in front of the houses. A little short wall about that tall.
Okay, that would have to be over in here somewhere. But,
Yeah, I remember seeing it when we came out of the corner.
I know the victories. I know the victories were the big house over here.
yeah, it was right, the Victory House right here.
And old Jefferson Church of Christ is like over here. That's where I went.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. His dad was a song professor. I forgot. Yeah. My dad was a deacon. Yeah. And his granddad
Was an elder.
Yeah. Oh, right. Got the whole
Here was the church. The church did sit right up next to the road. When we would come come from down the river, coming this way on a Sunday morning, and you were going toward Jerusalem Church, you'd go right by the front door. So what they ultimately did is move the church building back.
And they added on the classroom at that time too.
Yeah.
And the second thing put down there, didn't close up there all the time.
So there's the church right there. That's the Church of Christ right
One
there.
thing I remember about that church
This is Mr. and Mrs. William Wall of Pioneers, and this gentleman right here is Mr. Hatton Ward. Ben. It says Ben Ward. Let's see, says. So this he was one of the oldest men. That house was located right in that direction right there. Now we'll give you a chance to walk through this direction here and go right over to the junction of the two rivers to get an idea. You go by that cemetery that I showed there, and now other things that we can count on here. You've got one road going this way, and it goes all the way down to the river on the south side. Okay.
Where it comes out on what is it, Florence Road? Back in the day, you could cross over. They called it the ford.
Yeah.
You could actually cross over.
Yeah.
That would be the west side.
Yep.
And like I said, but I don't remember that, but I remember of it.
Here's another drawing down to the Jefferson, the river, and the names of a lot of the people.
So we're standing at the corner there.
Huh?
We're standing at the corner of that road going.
Yeah, we're right in. We're actually right in here.
Yeah.
And on the square, really, I guess
Wow.
you would call it.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, my mom was born right in that corner right over there. The house over there, you saw the buttercups on the left, that's where my mom was born.
Okay. Lenore.
I don't know, what do you...
This was a store that they operated in Nashville, not the store they did operate, but I don't have a picture inside of this store of them. but this one
It's
was
very
actually
similar.
from down Nashville.
Doodle bug will be running in there somewhere, you know, like later
Okay.
on. With the heat, yeah, but it looks the same. I think they lived at the store, they did. They just
Yeah.
Now going down, going to the second house right here, it says Leachy Hall. In other words, that's Mr. Sam Hall's wife, and they lived in the house right next to the store. This one says Pid Robinson. House was renovated and then moved. Now that house, you could look down at the bottom of the hill, and way down there, I've got another picture showing the house where Pid Robinson lived in. And she was an elderly lady, and she occupied that house.
Now, Toby, they
Down
did
there.
move a few houses on Jefferson Pike down from here, didn't they? I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Are they still there, or did they demolish them?
There are some houses. Some houses. The thing I noticed, I noticed just this past week or two, out there on Jefferson Pike, when you're going down to Gillsville and you're turning south, across the road was where the Mullins family moved from here down there, and right next to the road was a pump. That pump is, for the last few days, that hand pump is gone.
Well, but he's my uncle. He's passed away. Joel.
Oh,
My uncle got that.
This is the cemetery that's back there over the hill that you're going down. This big building here, it sat on the east side of the square here, and what it says there, let's see, what it says there is that the old Reed Inn on the east side of the square of Old Jefferson, and in the John Nash Reed, the same family built the Reed House in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's Walter Gray Lenore on the steps.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, relative of his, right
Yeah.
down the steps.
That's Walter Gray. You said
That's
on the guy standing on the
Walter
step?
Gray Lenore standing
Walter
on the
Gray
stairs.
Lenore.
And that was a
Let me
hotel?
show you a picture.
Yeah.
here.
Okay, now
That's
this
my
one
grandfather's car right there.
down
Really?
the pike going this way, leaving.
I need to get with you. I need to
hold
swap
it just a minute.
photos. I got a bunch of mine
Leaving
on
this way,
mine.
on
Yeah.
the right side, this is the house that was occupied by Ephraim Waller later on. This is their family. In the back of the house, on the on the west side, there was a Waller cemetery, which they moved that out to the Smyrna Cemetery.
Well, we think they did.
Yeah.
It's still listed on the map on GPS as a Waller Cemetery being right down the road
Oh,
here.
it does.
Yeah.
The Creeches, which is down the road here, 1850 or so, the cemetery. I had some people that said they still see the headstones.
Yeah.
We thought they moved
The
into
Waller,
Mount Juliet.
the Lenore plots were moved to Mount Juliet
Yeah,
that were in this house here.
I just wonder if they really did it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know they moved, like the Cannon Cemetery, which is out.
Now let me show you the.
They did move the ones that were in the water. They moved them now.
Okay, let me show you the two houses. This particular house here was called the Lenore House, and it was located right there. And that's the one the Victory family lived in.
Right.
Back in those early days, this was the main road going this way, and coming out this side was that. But when that closed off, they built an area that actually pointed out to this way. So this was the house that Lee Victor and them lived in. And
That bottom picture is it being dismantled in the late 60s. And they said that the log structure on the center of that house was likely where they held court or was the jail in Jefferson in 1804.
This was kind of a center spot for that particular aspect of life.
And I've got scanned pictures that I just posted on his Facebook post. You can see of them.
Now this is the house that I mentioned down the street. This was a snowy day. Picture taken from Old Jefferson, looking west, made by James Mullins in 1955. And this right here was Miss Pid Robinson's That's Miss Pitt Robinson's
Hold it up high
house.
there so they can see it there.
Right there. Okay.
Y'all see that? It's flat.
That's a flood, isn't it? Water? Yeah.
My aunt, our Aunt Grace, Jamie, actually lived with Miss Pitt Robinson.
She had a sister
And
they called Pid and Puda.
This is a picture going down this way. You can see the snow is on the ground here. This is looking south toward Alvin's Heath place, and the creek is forward. Then at the end of when that river came around this way, that plantation on the left was owned by the Creech family.
Which that would be my great-great-grandparents, and then later on, the Kings, around 1910, I believe. Am I right, Ernie? You see, I think around 1910, the Kings got that house.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, they did. Now that I remember that little house right there. Clara Preston was in my brother's class. That's where the Preston family lived. We were at Old Jefferson one day, and they were having a dance thing for us kids and all. And they had at the end of the thing, they had things to auction off and sell.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about a dance contest you won. Go ahead. Okay.
But anyway, Claire Preston's mother had made a gallon jar of peach preserves. Peach preserves, and they were hard as a brick. So he bought that. I think he gave $5. It took to get out of that gallon jug, to get those things out, you had to have a heavy piece of steel, and you just eat one little bite. But we didn't waste a bit of them. But that's where she lived, right there. Also, there's another thing that I've never been to. Going south that way, down toward Creaky Ford, there's a rock quarry. Robert Arnold Jones said that in the last days he delivered a lot of rocks out of that rock quarry. It must be a beautiful place, but I've never.
There's also a rock quarry up there at the corner of Old Buckeye Bottom right there. You ever seen that one right in the corner? If you're coming down Buckeye, stop. There's one in the corner there.
Yeah.
I wonder if the rock quarry flooded once it. That would have been lower. I wonder if it's got water in it.
So that one used to have a little bit of water when it rained, but it wasn't staying it long. But I can remember it.
Yeah. This is a picture during the snowstorm, looking east. That house over there is the one we saw down there, where Miles Gooch, he was in the second floor at the time we had the big flood, and that's where Miles Gooch, the black fellow, he lived there, and he died.
And the date was actually February the 13th, 1948. And it was on a Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So that's when that happened. So that was one of the
Okay,
lucky days.
here's another floodwater picture. This is looking kind of east off in that way, like that. Now this is another one. This is the church right there, looking back this way.
That's where they moved it off the road, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
That's when it's up on the road.
And this is the church when it was. A lot of times we'd drive by here, going to Jerusalem, and Irvin Dunn would be sitting right there on that piece of porch right there, that little rock thing, and we could hear the singing going on and back in the church.
No music, was it? Church Christ, was it? Yeah, this doesn't really mean a lot, but Paul Rogers was a preacher back then. David, do you remember? Yeah, I was actually named after Paul Rogers for whatever reason, the preacher there. I was born in '55, and he was there. My dad was an 18. Dad knew him since he was like 18, Paul Rogers, and that's how I got my name, my last name for a first name.
Here's another snow picture over on the same area down below where we are. This lady right here, this is Maggie King Martin. She's in front of her house in early 1900s. The wife of James J. Martin built built a stone house on a lot near their house, and in the store a few years ago, taken over by Mr. Phillips. Peyton Smith bought the store finally, and he took it over until about 1940. I remember when I was a small child, we would go in the store down there in the Peyton Smith store, and I remember going through the screen door. I was just a little kid, and there was some kind of advertisement on the screen door. So Peyton Smith lived in the
Probably colonial bread, screen printed in
something
there.
something like that. Yeah. Okay, now this is in the house that was right down here. This right here is Ephraim Waller and his family, and this is Mary Frances Mitchell Waller, 1846 to 37, wife of Ephraim.
And I think he was a Civil War veteran. Am I correct? This guy right here. I think he was a Civil War veteran.
I think so. I think that's right.
Yeah, I saw it on somebody. It wasn't me that knew that. I saw somebody.
Walter Gray is in that picture.
Is he?
Walter Gray Lenore. That's him right there. And his parents.
Okay.
Walter Wade and Walter Gray.
Okay. Yeah. But I'd heard this guy right here was a Civil War veteran. That's what I heard. Mm-hmm. Got to go do some homework. And
now, if any of us want to take a walk down to where the rivers come together, you can just aim down this way and take a little, and we.
They used to have little sides on each side where they unload those things. It's almost like a boat ramp looking thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It still exists.
I've still got a few more quick pictures. Here's local residents here, the Wallers and the various people. This is where this is Melissa Bone Ward. That was her house.
So the Bones
like
and
they were PO'd. I would have been too back in the day.
Now the house down on the end. This is
Hattie Lenore.
Okay.
She's
Well, actually,
a
this
ward.
is the house that was over here, and it was one of the.
I've got a picture of that on website.
This is called the Keeble House originally, and
That's
so
is that Stony Lonesome there?
yeah, this is.
Let me show what Stony Lonesome looked
Okay,
like.
this is Stony Lonesome. It was a beautiful
Keeble,
house.
that is called back in the Keeble zone there.
That's the one Jerry Short family.
Yeah. Peyton Smith later on.
Now, was that the one made of stone?
This one, I don't know. That would be and she's probably on a cart riding around. That would be
Now this was the plantation house down,
Joyce. Question.
down in the southern direction, close to. There was a plantation right.
Looks like
right
it's just a
across
big
the-
old revival home to me.
I wonder
That
why
was
they
pretty
named it
common.
Stony Lonesome, because that's what, like the slang for jail.
I know, but it kind of sounds cool back in
Yeah.
Stony Lonesome.
Yeah,
Is this the creek?
yeah. This is the creek house.
Okay, this is my. I'll make sure. Yeah, no, this is also Stony.
That's also.
So in the square of the town, was it a T
Yes.
or not a square?
No, it was a T.
It was a T.
Yeah, and then like I said, that little T, there were mailboxes that are all lined up on a thing where the postman would drop it off.
Okay.
Okay, here's the one that you want to look at.
Okay, and this is my great-great-grandparents. And that's the Crease Plantation. It's straight down that way. We went down there a couple years ago, and we found a whale.
Yeah.
That's them.
So where was your place from here?